So as mentioned earlier, I have my guest seated in studio who are going to help me have a good conversation on the very big issue of food sufficiency in Ghana and in Africa. If we have a region or a sub-region which has all the resources, why should we have a conversation on food sufficiency? If we have a continent that has a lot of vegetation, abundant rainfall, sunshine, good soil, why should we have the conversation about food sufficiency and to think about the fact that food sufficiency is a problem? And to ask ourselves again the bigger question of, can we feed our own selves? I have with me in studio Dr. Daniel Basie Jr., who is the Country Director, Eco Index Agro Solutions Limited. And I have Gordon Kote Nikwe, who is a Senior Business Advisor. Gentlemen, you're welcome to the focus today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, and I hope everybody is doing well. You're all fine.
Yeah.
People have said that in Ghana, you don't say you're fine, say you're okay.
Oh, I'm managing.
You're managing, absolutely. Absolutely. Now today we're having this conversation about food sufficiency, which really it's a very big conversation, or has become a big conversation. I don't know whether when we were little growing up, we ever thought of such conversations. Today, almost every food we eat, sometimes you see that the food is a little funny compared to when our mothers would cook very organic meals for us. Let me start with Dr. Basie. First, let me ask you, what is the general food situation in Ghana and Africa? What's our food situation like?
Right here in Ghana, I should say, so far as our industry is concerned, it is promising, or it is much better for a few years. That is, maybe in less than 2 years now, our food situation is promising.
It was gotten better in the last 2 years.
No, less than 2 years now. It is promising, because of various activities and measures that this present government is putting into place, looking at food, because they have taken into heart the influx of import and addressing influx of import also. It is all about we being able to grow and produce our own food, most especially our staple foods, ranging from cereal grains, legumes, and vegetables. And that is what this current government, in the realms of affairs, they are putting into place. That's why I'm saying that it's promising for now. We're only hoping that it will be much more efficient and to go a very long way for us to understand and know and believe that our agri-food systems that we have in Ghana, it is heading towards self-sufficiency. Basically, that is for Ghana. With Africa, it is quite interesting because in most of our African countries who are still under the hands of some colonial, oppressors, they are not really as sufficient as it is, because in West Africa, the French-speaking countries, apart from the Sahel states, that has formed their own, union, which is a very good thing that they've done. The remaining countries, most especially the French-speaking, are still under the hands of their colonials, directly and indirectly.
Well, they said they are breaking free now. I mean, they've had a lot of measures to tell us that they are breaking free.
Let's hope so, and they did too. They need to really, liberate themselves entirely for them to have absolute control on themselves. Because if you're still under the armpit of your colonial ruler, you won't have your way, and they always make sure they control and dictate to you your food situation in your country. They are still looking up to buy your raw materials next to free. They are also making sure all your natural resources, they are dominating, they are in control, they are taking all the good stuff you have out of your natural resources, and they are rather pushing back to you the food that they are forcing you to eat, that it is not from your indigenous way of eating. And this is very, very, very wrong and very, very, very bad. That is with Africa, the West African states that are still under the armpit of their colonials. In far places, they are having some issues regarding pandemic in East Africa. Some few countries are having issues with Ebola.
Yeah.
It is very, very unfortunate. Our condolences to their losses. We need to also look at it from that point of view. I think ECOWAS and African Union, they need to be proactive. They need to be very, very efficient enough to address certain issues, and also make sure that they are empowering these African countries for them to dominate. We need to, share a lot of knowledge and help other African countries for them to really know how some African countries, the way they are doing so many good things to secure the agri-food systems. But I think we can dive much more into it with time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Let me turn my attention to Gordon. Same question. What is from where you sit, what is the food situation like in Ghana and Africa?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me say good morning to you, to your listeners, and to my co-panelists. As he said, yes, in Ghana per se, for some time now, we can say we are better. Expand it small for you to understand it better. A farmer in 2024 or 2025 planting season bought a fertilizer around 400 cedis. And just after that, the dollar fell drastically, and its cost of production has already gone high. After producing, he's supposed to sell a bag of, let's say, maize at 200 cedis. Now, based on the dollar terms, the bag of maize are now come down to 100 cedis. When this farmer sells at 100 cedis, we will run at a loss. Businessmen took advantage of it, quickly import a lot of rice and maize into the country. So you see they are selling rice as cheap as 50 cedis, 25 cedis. So it has created a glut in the system. There's now more maize, more rice, local rice in the system than before. So we have the food there.
Okay.
But the question is, how long can we sustain it? That's why some of us keep on praying to the government that, look, luckily for us, under the previous administration, they have each district with a warehouse. Can we fill the warehouse? Can we get money, buy it at that cost for the farmer to fill the warehouse? Because as of now, the cost of production have gone down drastically. Okay. So everybody who bought or who have a high cost of production since the previous year is still going to have the issue. The rice and maize are there. They need to reduce it drastically and run at a loss. And if they run at a loss, this year production will become another challenge for them. But yes, in Ghana here we can say we are especially with our staple foods. With the vegetables, that's where we have some challenges that we also need to look at it critically, especially pepper, tomatoes, onions, which we still import heavily from our neighboring country. And recently that Burkina Faso said we won't give you tomatoes. It became a huge problem. It's still a problem as of now, but I was shocked to buy 3 pieces of tomatoes at 20 cedis. I say, what? How can we survive with this? But the food is there. The ingredients are there. Things are there that we can use. But left with something small that we need to do to keep our system running. It applies to West Africa. It's almost the same. North Africa is almost the same. But it's left with us to take advantage of certain things and then make sure that our food systems are more secure than before.
All right, then let me turn to you. I mean, from what Doctor, let me turn to you. From what Gordon is saying, if the dollar played a role in the food industry. Won't you think that the promising nature you find today is because of the dollar? Well, when the dollar went down, now probably imports became a little cheaper. Now the dollar seems to be going higher.
The dollar issue, yes, that is one. I didn't elaborate on the other factors that is really telling us, or that is really informing us how promising our food systems in terms of sufficiency is heading towards. The initiatives, or maybe some people would say the flagship activities and programs that this present government introduced, the Feed Ghana initiative.
Okay.
You know, our Honorable Minister Rukupoku, the Agri Minister, you could tell that he is all over the place making sure the flagship program with the Feed Ghana initiative is really working on the ground. Agriculture Ministry, as a minister, that ministry is not for lazy ministers. You should be a very hard-working minister, just like the minister we are having now. Honorable Rukupoku is so hard-working minister. He's not sitting at his office, he's moving everywhere. Anywhere you call upon him, he's there. And it's a good thing he's doing. He's making sure, you know, following this initiative, he's empowering everyone to come on board, individuals, growing your own food at home. He's also, you know, encouraging our security services for them to also start growing their own food. Although our security services back in time, they used to have their own farms. Ghana Armed Forces, I know very well that they used to have their own farms. I think they still do. Prison service, I think they also have the same thing. He's, you know, challenging them to do more. Those other security services who don't have, he's really, you know, encouraging them to go into this. He's also pushing and telling the faith-believing organizations, in this case churches, for them to also get on board, for them to also be growing their own food. So many things, you know, it is something that is ongoing. He is also seeing areas where we are not self-sufficient, we are not really dominating, we are not really championing regarding our staple foods, and most especially our staple vegetables, in this case, tomatoes. The Polugu Enclave, so far as the dam that was never constructed by the past government, that this government is seeing the measures and steps that needs to be taken to get the dam really constructed and start operating. We have a lot of tomato farmers in and around the Polugu Enclave. Apart from that, in some areas in Upper East, we have tomato farmers. But you know, the influx of what is coming from Burkina Faso really got most of these tomato farmers out of business. This government is making sure that he get all these tomatoes farmers back to their farms again and giving them all the inputs, most essential ones, of course, for them to start, you know, producing tomatoes once again. When you come towards Winchi, that used to be our tomato hub back in time. Those areas also, the farmers that we have over there are also getting back to their farms again because of what this present ministry, agriculture ministry, is prepared and willing to support them in so many ways for them to start producing enough tomatoes also. Apart from that, there are other locations where it's back in time dominating most of the foods that we consume that today or back in time we are exporting, to always make sure that what is their issues, what is it that they need for them to quickly get back, for them to start producing. And all these measures is in place, and that is also contributing to, you know, how promising our food security issues or our food sufficiency is heading towards. And it's a very good thing that it is ongoing, in addition to the dollar rate, because it informs every importer, those who are into the food imports, to really be mindful that they need to start reducing the quantity of food that they still bring into this country. They need to rather invest in some of these farms, because the government is doing a bit of it. As a business person doing import, you need to also get closer and also find out the areas where it is still lacking, for you to also pump your investment in there, so that we can still have food that we are growing on for our own self, which is what should be the way to go.
Right.
Because bringing food for someone else's country, it has its own long chain of issues, problems when it comes in terms of whether it is healthy, whether they are real healthy food, if they are GMOs and all of these issues. We don't know where it's coming from. Most of the rice that we are eating, that we don't even know where it's coming from, how it was grown, whether it is real healthy rice we are eating.
Even the chicken, whether the actual chickens, we don't
livestock and poultry products.
We've seen videos where they take something and inject something, becomes a chicken all of a sudden.
It is a whole, topic of itself when we're even looking at our poultry and livestock products. And also some of the measures, and let me quickly chip in this. The 24-hour economy has one of its subsidiary that is called Grow 24. It is also looking at the agriculture sector seriously. They are even looking at peri-urban farming activities, and I think if we have enough time, I can really talk about that a lot.
We'll come even into there, but let's go back a little before. We'll come and look at what measures have been put in place currently to help agriculture. But let's go back a little. Maybe let me go to Gordon. If we agree that the food we are importing has a lot of problems on our balance sheets, on our health, if we agree on that, how did we get to the point of heavy importation of food? Where did it come from?
So you see, we were able to force to change our taste and preference. Yes. Let me start in the early 90s when they started introducing Indomie into the country.
Okay.
You could see that later they have this. Then we have the vibrant trade fair working.
Yeah.
And you go there and they prepare Indomie in the packet. They give you for free. They go to our secondary schools. They give it to them for free. They keep on consuming. Then they became used to eating Indomie, quick to prepare, quick to eat. And what happens? Now it has taken over the country. Rice. They started bringing in long grain rice, American long grain rice.
Started adding perfume rice. I don't know if they're still there. Those ones that it actually had a taste.
Yes.
It's on the market, yes.
So still there.
Sultana, perfume rice. And then you cook it and you hear the perfume in your house and you think it's the best rice
you add a little stew and then you are good.
Even when somebody is cooking it in his room and you are at the window,
I am telling
you can really take Kincaid, smell the scent, and you are already full. So this is how come we stop taking our local foods, and in one way or the other, ourselves we try to look down upon our let me use the word look down upon our local food. Yes, there are a lot of challenges by then. You go and buy rice and there are some stones in all that, but we have come a long way to overcome most of these challenges. I can bet you that you can take a local rice now, which is also a perfume rice. Yeah. It's just that we don't call it perfume rice. They call it what? Togo Masha. Togo Masha, which is a variety of rice, have perfume, and it's even far, far better than any other imported rice you can take.
Natural.
Natural.
Very organic.
Very organic. Very good. Go to Aveme rice. Go to Nasia rice. We have a lot of them. The only problem we have now is how to go back and eat our made in Ghana products. If we change and eat the rice we produce here, I bet you, health-wise, I would say we are about 70% true, because they are fresh, they are nice, they are neat, they are delicious. They contain a lot of nutrients. The rice we buy rice, do you know how many years it has been in the warehouse before they give it to you? No. And you see, we know that when you take grains through heat, drying it to store for long, some of the nutrients are lost in it. So if they dry the rice before they store it, before they sell it to you, so most of the rice we have, the local rice, are not dried. It's sun-dried. And I bet you we need to change it. Look, I was telling a group of people, some students, that look, don't let us say that the government can get up one day and say, I'm banning the importation of rice. They cannot do it because of trade liberalization. But if you are an importer and you went and import, let me use any of the foreign rice, don't let me make any name for somebody to say I'm destroying this business. You import any rice and nobody comes to buy, and we are buying our local rice. What happened? we import again.
You advise yourself.
Yes. So that's it, how we should now go about it, that we should use our local foods. And I always keep on saying one thing, that anytime you import anything, you create job for somebody outside. Your daughter, your son, your great-grandson will come from university and say there is no job for him. You are the one causing it. Because the agri-value chain alone can consume all the unemployment we have in the system.
Yeah, I think so.
That green value chain can consume everybody. So if we are taking more made in Ghana products, we are employing more people to come sustain the industry. The Grow Ghana, Grow 24 that my colleague talk about it. It's a very nice program. Look, I'm saying that we need to now go a step further. We are importing rice. Look, import 80% of your rice outside, and you are forced to buy 20% locally. Ghana, we started it under, I think, late Professor Mills, when Anabisiu was then the deputy minister in charge of livestock.
Yeah, even Rollins is
she made it strong case that, look, if you are importing poultry products, 10% of the product has to buy from Ghana. And it started working perfectly for us. All of a sudden, when there is a change of government, everything just collapses. And it's a gradual process. Look, we have the capacity in Ghana to feed ourselves. No doubt about that. The Winchi farms, the Dawa farms, the Ejura farms, all the state farms that we have, if we put them together and we go into serious production, I bet you, I keep on saying all the smaller farmers that we keep on crying over them, 2 acre, 3 acre, will put them on retirement. They will have to go to a bank every month and get some money to go in. So because these commercial farms can do it. We can do it, and we are doing it. We're already there. We just need a little push, a policy push. And I'm happy the current government is doing a lot in that industry to give us that push. I don't want to talk about more what they are doing. But on the ground currently, we need to convince ourselves and eat our locally made food. We take maize.
Yeah.
I don't see us importing any maize. Somebody will say, "Oh, Ghana, we import maize from Burkina Faso. We import maize from Togo." Well, look, I bet you those maize came from Ghana. The maize that comes from Burkina Faso and Mali comes from Ghana. The issue is during the major season, when we produce more maize and we're able to dry it, and they send their merchants down to Ghana. You can go to in August, September, go to Ejura, and you know a lot of trucks which is loading maize from there to Burkina Faso, to Mali. They take it there, store it because they have a good condition. And our lean season around June, July, when we are in production, they will bring it to come and sell it to us. Is the maize not from rice?
Yeah.
So that is the situation. We can do it there. Go to Boku, Zibila, and the rest. They do onions in large quantity. They don't get bias. Why? Because we prefer the white onion than the violet onion. They do a lot of the violet onion. It's a taste of preference.
This issue of taste of preference, I think is a big issue because now as you say this, I think of a lot of people who, in fact, strangely, I think this week or so, I was having a conversation with somebody. A person eats banku. The person said, "No, I don't eat banku." Do you eat fufu? No, I don't eat fufu. All our local business, Ghanaian, she eats only these imported meals. And my question is why?
That's the taste of preference. So now, you see, I am happy that this government made a point that our secondary schools should be fed with local.
In fact, I was going to come there to say that if I think of all the secondary schools, even just the government schools, there's enough market for every farmer. Because if you take, even let's take Presec right behind it, I'm sure they'll have about 2,000. Even now with the free SH, I'm sure their numbers have gone so high. Let's say about 3,000 students. They eat 3 times a day. We can, and if we are producing for all these schools alone, it's enough for us to boost our sector.
3,000 is understatement.
I agree.
I'm an old student of Presec. I'm on that year. So I was there, I think, a month ago, and the student percent is over 10,000.
You see,
and
I'm using our day because there was about 500, 600 in school.
Yeah.
But now free SH, I know that 1 year group can.
And I remember our time in Presec. We have the Presec poultry farm.
Okay.
We have the Presec hatchery.
Right.
And we have the Presec maize farm. We have the vegetable farm. And I can tell you that 100% of all eggs we use at the kitchen for the students come from the poultry farm. 100% our time.
From the school itself?
From the school itself. And you see, because we have the hatchery, when they do the hatch and they sell, all the poor hatch and what is left over is sent to the poultry farm for rearing.
Okay.
We're able to rear most of them, bring them to life, and all is used to feed students. But those things are gone. And I believe most schools, as the agri-minister is doing now, should revive most of schools to go into production. I mean, what does it take? Look at the vast land they have in Presec.
Exactly.
If we can plow it and put it in production, what happens? Look at the land at WAS. They can do something.
Across the country,
Across
all
the
the
country,
schools.
everywhere. It's just few schools who don't have land, but yet still, you can do into vegetables, put it in pots, and place them at advantage places on campus, and you get something. And one thing that is worrying us is when we have started remembering or being an European or someone that we go to our house, you build and you pave everywhere. Everywhere is tarred. By law, we are not even supposed to do that. And sometimes I blame our law enforcement agencies. I blame our town and country planning people. I mean, arrest people, prosecute them. Forget our politics. Look at the rain that is coming down.
Yeah.
Look, let's take every house is to sink 10 buckets of water because the place is bare. We haven't paved it, and every house is sinking 10 buckets of water. Do you think the flood we have in Accra will get it? Yes, the problem will come, but it's not be this massive. Now it rains, and every water from every house is on the road, and you turn your back and come and blame the government, blame your somebody over there.
Road has no drainage system.
No drainage, and we are starving others because the ground serves as an aquifer. You collect the water, goes into the underground, and goes to somebody for that person to use it. Now you sell it, the water is not going to the underground. The rest of it is they now even use a black polythene sheet to line the ground before they do it. So there's no water going underground.
Yeah.
I'm pleading the authorities need to act on that and introduce these gardens, home gardens, small gardens, and it's helping us a lot. But look, some of us, excuse me to say, we are the elite. We have our money. We can do anything that we want to do. So nobody can control us. It's not helping Ghana. And we are going backwards with those ideologies. Let's move forward. Food security is a key. We have the food, and we can do more. We can even do more and export, and make more money, and create. I mean, these unemployed issues that we have, they are always crying, will not be there. I mean, when I see anybody who did agriculture and tell me that I'm unemployed, I laugh at you, because you can't do agri and tell me you are unemployed.
Interesting. Doctor, let me turn to you, and maybe let's just pick up from where Gordon left it on this agriculture issue. Now we are diagnosing the problem, see that some of the reasons why we're going for import has been taste the preference. Somebody will be happy to say I'm eating rice imported from maybe where any of the rice importing can than to say I got it from a farm somewhere in the Volta region. Now, there's this whole educational stigma around agriculture. Said that today, if somebody says I'm reading agriculture in school, in fact, I think some schools made it worse, so that in their science classes, they will list maybe the normal science as science 1 to maybe science 7, then agriculture, they put you as science 8. To understand that if you didn't get science, go and try agriculture. Now, these stigmas, do you think all of it affect our locally made food? So the understanding is that the person producing the food is an illiterate or a person who doesn't understand the real science of it. So then people are driven to go for imported goods. Do you think this has played a role?
Way back when we were kids,
Yeah.
the food that we're being fed when we're in school, nursery school, most especially, were food that was imported. Tom Brown,
Yeah.
skimmed milk, or some others will say powdered milk, sorghum and wheat. We were being fed and it was coming from the Catholic Relief Funds, wherever. These foods were imported from the United States. And the nature at which it is and how it's being prepared. A strategy that was used on us when we were kids for us to develop the taste for imported foods. We are being fed with this food. When we vacate and go back home, quantities of this food were given to us to be taken home with the intention that the school is also subsidizing your home with food. And that is the food that our parents were also feeding us with. Parents didn't read between the lines. They were also thinking that it's not a bad idea. My child is coming back home for vacation. And the school is still giving some food out. For my child to still be eating that food, it also, help my pocket as a father. I wouldn't be still spending a lot of money to mom to go to the market to go buy food, because we have some food that is given to the child to bring home. All these things were strategies that was instituted by some people. I wouldn't like to dive into them, mention their names, just for us to develop the taste for those kind of food when we are growing up. Unfortunately, it is still ongoing in a different direction. That is why we are seeing very funny foods all over the place. I don't know what I need to mention those kind of foods, but we could say that these are factory-made foods. They are absolutely not healthy. Now, most of these factory foods that we see it all over.
But has been made enjoyable.
Absolutely. It's been made enjoyable for you to have a taste of it. The ingredients that they put together to make it that enjoyable, for it to look nice, for it to taste good in the mouth cavity, most of them, or entirely all of them, are genetically modified products, raw material, genetically modified ingredients. That's the purpose at which it needs to serve the consumer. For you to crave for it all the time, for you to still go to that joint and buy, for you to pick your phone and place an order, the delivery person brings it at home. Your office, you are placing order, it is coming to your office, wherever you are, it is all over the place. You've developed the taste of it. You always want to eat it. And all of these things, it is robbing us from really appreciating and enjoying our own indigenous foods. Also, our various homes, that is where I blame parents a lot. Definitely, a child will still be dictating and telling mom what he or she wants to eat. But as a mother, as a father, you know better. You know what has to go into your child as a growing person. We are what we eat. Whether we'll have long life on this planet Earth is about what we eat. Whether we are going to be as healthy and as fertile human beings, whether being a man or a woman, it is the food that you eat. Whether you're going to stay healthy, very healthy, it is the food that you eat. All of these things goes into every growing child or every growing person. If you don't feed your children very well with nutritious, organic, healthy foods, what do you expect when they become of age? What are we saying this day and age? Even you, the mother, when you conceive, what are the kind of food that you are eating? Back in time, I remember when you live in the urban areas as a woman and you pick a seed, you quickly move to the rural or the people call it the villages.
And they go home.
Exactly. You stay there until you deliver safely, and you continue to be there for about a year or two before you probably come back to join your home or your family, your husband and your husband in the urban or in the city to continue life. Why is it that those things were being done? It is for you to have the appropriate environment around you. 2, to eat healthy food. Number 3, to have some kind of exercise. You also go to the farm a little bit to help fetch water, to walk around. All these things were healthy. As a woman who have picked a seed, and also to make sure that the seed that you've picked it is growing and growing properly. You end up laboring without going through any cesarean section. You see that you are able to give birth to a very beautiful, healthy baby.
Yeah.
And you need to continue to eat healthy to breastfeed the baby well. Now, what you are introducing to the baby through your breast milk starts the baby on what is right and what is appropriate for the baby to eat in terms of its growth. And I'm talking about fertility in this case. Right from the beginning, you are getting your child to be as fertile as the child is supposed to be, being a boy or a girl. And all these things are very, very, very important. All these things has to do with our agri-food systems, which should be healthy and which should be organic. If we are missing all these dimensions and we are pushing it down to what most people say it is out of fashion or whatever they call it, you should still be in the city and enjoy city life, so on and so forth. You see a pregnant woman going to a Pizza Hut, eating pizza all the time, going to the shawarma joints to be eating shawarma.
It's just they can't help it, the taste.
Yeah, because she will tell you that's what she's craving for. We all know that every pregnant women are quite funny in whatever they eat.
Cravings, yeah.
Exactly. Whatever they crave for, they quickly go for it and all. All of these things is not helping our system. So you should understand that right from infant, even when you are an ordinary fetus in your mother's womb, whatever your mother is consuming to feed you in there before you come out, that is where it starts from. And we need to understand this. So in a home, as a parent, if we know better and we are presenting breakfast, we are presenting lunch, we are preserving supper or dinner to our children, no matter what they are instructing us and preferring for them to eat, we should know better and really feed them with healthy food. Our indigenous food, like the wheat, the millet, the sorghum, the fonio, name it, and what have you, we are not seeing that these are the real indigenous food and healthy food that we should be eating. And interestingly, the West are rather coming for it.
Yeah.
And they are using it in so many meals, so many dishes. Those of us who travel a lot, sometimes you are in someone else's country, you go to a restaurant to eat, or even the hotel that you are staying in. Well, if you look at the menu, if you go to a restaurant to see the menu and you open it up, you see what is on the menu, and you'll be asking, where do they get it from? From your own home. What you've abandoned, what you think is it is out of fashion of food. Yeah. They have come for it. Others some value to it, and they are pushing it back to you. But over there, that one you don't complain. You think it is okay, it is so fine because of that country or whatsoever.
And we'll be happy to eat it, and so that's traditional meal.
Exactly. And you are rather enjoying eating it. But when you come back home and the same is given to you in a different form, you push it away and you are saying, no, you don't want it. We need to really understand and know that whatever goes into our system, with all those things that I've listed, whatever makes you up as a real human being, healthy human being, it has to be in your food that you are consuming. And it is not just about the taste. I always give this instance, and it is quite funny. Let's listen to this. When we are sick and we go to the hospital, whatever the diagnosis that the doctor is able to come up with, you walk up to the pharmacy shop or maybe the pharmacy at the hospital. You show the prescription and whatever medication is given to you, pills, whatsoever, syrups, name it, whatever. Now, listen, as a patient, as a sick person, you don't dictate to the dispensary what you want. Whether the medication give you tastes sweet or it tastes bitter, whatsoever, you have no choice. You take it home, whatever the dosage it is, you quickly start taking that medication. That one, we are not talking about taste. That one, we are not complaining and talking about the nature at which the capsules or whatever medication should be. It is according to what the doctor is saying that is a health problem and you are having or you are finding solution to it. So it is some kind of a psychological thing. That one, we don't complain. But when it comes in terms of food, what is it that is pushing us for us to crave for funny foods? Food that smells so nice through our nostrils, food that looks so beautiful when we see it with our eyes, food that tastes so good in our mouth cavity. These three things is driving us to be always eating poison our system, eating food which are not healthy, eating food which are full of poison. Genetically modified food is all over the place we are consuming them. We are not understanding and believing that all these food that I'm consuming has something to do with my health and well-being as a human being in bringing up other offsprings. Why are we seeing issues with birth rates? Why are we seeing issue with our women just picking up a seed, going through the 3 months duration of pregnancy successfully and having a safe and a comfortable delivery? In this day and age, are we saying that? We are not saying. Look at all the fertility hospitals we have. Look at all the women's hospitals that we are having all over the place. All of this is informing us and directing us that, look, we need to sit and be very, very careful and really look at our agri-food system. The trend at which it is going is extremely, extremely, extremely wrong. We need to bounce back and bring back our indigenous foods and enjoy eating them for our health and well-being.
Bringing back our indigenous foods so that we can enjoy it for our health, our well-being. So now we find ourselves at this place where we all appreciate the fact that our indigenous foods, which we can easily grow here, we don't have a taste for it. Now the ECOWAS has declared ambitiously that by 2035, it's projecting we achieve, how does it call it, food sufficiency. Let me turn to you, Gordon. Gordon, do you think that this is achievable? Looking at the fact that now let's look at even the new generation of people we have. Maybe your generation is easy for you to eat the local yam, the local potatoes and all. But the generation which has come, it looks like these things are not easy for them. In fact, there are a lot of them that can tell you for a month they have eaten no traditional made meal. Now these fanciful restaurants we go to, and it's not even as though their food is cheap. Recently I went to a restaurant. They gave just a small bowl with some small things. I tried about 600 cedis. I said 6 million just for this. You know, and that's what people are consuming today. So do you think that this target of 2035 in West Africa will achieve food sufficiency? With this issue of a lack of a taste for our own local food, do you think it's achievable?
Oh yes, it's achievable. And I think we've started it.
Okay.
And I believe the government is going to push more for it. I mean, 2035 is about
9 years.
10 years from now. 9 years from now. Let's say if a child is 15 years, which is in SS1, and is being fed the local dishes now, by 10 years' time, it will be around 25, which means that it has come of age and has developed the taste for the local food, and it will work well for all of us. The other thing too is that we also need to look at our production systems. Not only for production, we are doing where we produce, but our post-harvest losses is also too high. Yeah. We need to reduce our post-harvest losses. And when Doc was talking, he made mention of Palugu Dam. That as at now, it hasn't been, it hasn't seen the day of light. And we look forward of bringing it back to create a lot of employment and then beef up our food production systems over there. I wonder what will happen if we get engineers that this water that is coming to Accra, which is flooding our houses, we can divert it to Accra Plains.
I've actually been wondering. So.
Somebody will say it's not possible. It's possible if they are able to make a canal to take the Nile River all the way to Egypt. I think we can also spend money to divert this water all the way to Accra Plains and use it as a farming system over there. There are so many dams in Accra. You don't know. Where is it? We are just discussing it. Ajigano. There's a dam there.
Which side of Ajigano?
I will tell a lot when it's done. Yeah.
Look at Weja.
Yeah.
Tuba.
Yeah.
Tuba Dam irrigation. Most of the lands have been used for housing, but it's still working. Go to what's the name? On the motorway after Ashama.
Yeah, there's a dam.
There's a dam at Ashama. Can we?
They call that place
Jerusalem. Can we widen the dam to take in more water? We use it during the dry season, can we create a dam, artificial one? Look, all this water that is coming, we can create what we have what you call the Zia irrigation. Zia is part of the land. You open up, dig it out, and then what? It takes the water and divert it to another angle to go.
This was I've been in South Africa quite a while. I mean a bit, and that's exactly how some of their areas it is. So when it rains, everything just go underground. It's channeled to a particular place. So it can rain heavily today, tomorrow you see there's no water.
There's no water.
Yep. Everything goes there.
Everything goes, and we can do it. We have the engineers who can do it. It's just a matter of we sacrificing and putting little resources into some of these things, and tomorrow it will help us. You see, always when you raise certain things, the next thing that we do, there's no money. There's no money. Then we all keep quiet and sit down. But if we always say there's no money, there will always not be money. I will say, I always keep on telling people, if we want to be sufficient, look, 30% of our budget should go to agriculture, 30% to go to health, 30% should go to our education, the 10% should go to infrastructure. I say 10%, you say, oh, why? As of today, I bet you let your guys go around and look at all the drip irrigation machines that were brought. Where are they? They were packed at the assemblies. You see one on the field working or doing something. And sometimes I look at our assemblymen and say, you people are not proactive. These drip machines are there. Our roads are bad. If the road is not tarred and say, look, even some of the tar roads are more than, the holes in it is more than potholes.
I'm telling
they
you.
are manholes.
Yeah.
Why can't we use these drip machines? Assemblyman, you are there. The machines are there. We need fuel. Organize the point in your area. Look, I cannot bring 10,000 I'm going to buy fuel, but I can bring 100 cities. If we contribute 100, we'll get the 10,000, buy the fuel, and let the drip machines come to work on the road. We don't need tar roads. We need motorable roads, roads that we can easily move on. They go and come. And if we have that even the interland in Accra, food will come in like in no other thing. This 2035, I bet you, if we have our dams working, we have a lot of irrigation facilities working, we can grow maize 3 times in a year in Ghana here. We can grow maize 3 times in a year. So can you imagine if you are going maize 3 times a year, and at each production, let me go to the minimum, you are getting 15 bars, roughly 1.5 metric tons, and you are doing that 3 times. How many are you getting? You are getting 4.5 metric tons in a year. I'm getting it. He's getting it. You are getting it. Are we not going to flood the country with maize? So it's achievable, but it's just that we need to have the vision. We need to have commit ourselves. We need to make sure that, look, this thing that is there, we are getting it and we'll get it.
Chicken Doctor, what do you think? Do you think it's achievable?
I will stress strongly with our water resources, as my good friend just spoke about. I have done a lot of research regarding water situation in Ghana, taking into consideration, serious consideration, high level of consideration with what we call the wetlands, that we have a lot of it here in Greater Accra. In wetlands outside Greater Accra, those ones we see them all the time. They are in place. Although illegal mining activities have made us lose most of these wetlands in other regions. But let's look at Greater Accra alone. Water harvests, collecting water. Now that we are in the raining era, or we are in the rainy season, we have so much water, volumes of water, high volumes of water, that is flowing through our drains into the ocean. When healthy fresh water gets into our ocean, it becomes useless. We can't use it for anything else. I remember way back, that is before COVID, on one of my research when I was doing my PhD, I worked on peri-urban farming activities. And one of the suggestions that I came up with in really getting our peri-urban farming activities efficiently working is that our wetlands that we have has already been degraded back in time. So what are the sources and the means of clean water that our per-urban farmers could be using to irrigate most of the herbs and vegetables that they are growing? Then it comes into the thought and the idea of rainfall harvest. As my big brother rightly mentioned, all these waters I started saying, it could be damped or it could be collected. Somebody will quickly raise the issue or raise an argument that most of this water is dirty, most of this water is carrying along sewage deposit and so on and so forth, which is true, I agree. But when we collect this water and we dam it, it has to go through a treatment process to make the water much cleaner, to destroy and kill any harmful pathogens or organisms in the water. Then it is collected into another dam and distributed to all the various locations where we have peri-urban farming activities. Then we have clean water for our farmers to be using. And the most important thing that peri-urban farmers, in and around us, what they do and what they are serving is to make sure they are addressing food security issues. They are giving to us fresh and healthy foods. The closer your food is, the healthier your food. We don't need to still be bringing fresh vegetables from Ashanti region, from the northern region, from the Bono regions, and so on and so forth. The distance is too far. By the time these fresh vegetables get to Accra, to the large consuming areas, most of them has gone bad, and also the nutritional value of most of these vegetables is highly compromised because of the distance and so many conditions. Some of these trucks break down on the road. It has to take about few days to get a mechanic all the way, go fix the truck before the truck could proceed and finally gets to Accra. All of these things are issues that is affecting logistical access and means in bringing us healthy food, especially fresh vegetables, food to the highly populated areas here in Accra. So when we have this, our peri-urban farmers, and when we are paying attention to them and serving them with this water issue that we are talking about, then we know that the fresh vegetables that they are producing, it is just at the lips of the consumer, a closer distance. And they are also addressing so many issues that has to do with spaces where purposely it is meant to grow healthy food for us. That is where, they are also playing those roles, but they are doing so many things. So about water harvest and water collection, this could be done to make sure that we are having enough water to safeguard our agricultural activities and also to safeguard food security issues. In other locations, after all, we know that the water lake is artificial. Our very first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, strategically, with so much powerful wisdom that he was able to, hold the water lake for it to be constructed into dams. We are having so many benefits of the lake. The tributaries of the water lake even flows all the way up north, in even feeding the black and white water, and so many other areas. We are a country where we have a lot of water resources.
Yeah.
Waterfalls. There's a waterfall at the Aqua Safari Enclave that is off Ikropong when you're heading towards Somanya. All these water resources that we are having, are we really making efficient use of them? In some countries like Egypt, my big brother made mention, they don't have, but they're able to channel water from a long distance through their desert, coming all the way to places where arable lands are available for them to grow food. We have it. And we can even collect water, harvest water, even sell or supply to other countries to make some revenue. Countries where they are struggling with water issues, countries in our Sahara locations, and even countries that are having issues with water. We can supply them. Even with issues that have to do with Africa, looking at our food security, our sustainable, how we can feed ourselves as Africans, as well and so forth. This is also another strategy in supplying healthy water, clean water to our neighboring countries. It could be Nigeria, it could be Togo, whatsoever, that we have enough water. We've harvested it, we've collected it, we've dammed it. We can channel it, construct drainage channels, and then transport it or move it up to them for them to also make use of it. We are looking at growing food, agriculture activities that could be carried out throughout the year non-stop. Locations, places where they are out of season, places where they are on season. We need to figure out all of these things and make sure that what are the limitations. I was discussing this with one of the media houses, what Africa we could do in terms of our food sustainability, food security, so far as ECOWAS is concerned, so far as the African Union is concerned. We have the AFTA, the headquarters sitting right here in our own country, Ghana. What is it that we can do in terms of business, trade, in terms of food? We have experts over here in Ghana who are championing some areas in terms of agriculture.
Yeah.
In other countries also, they will have the same. For instance, let's take Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is championing tomato production. Can we have some experts over there in Burkina Faso for us to bring them all over here, right here in Ghana, to work and also share their knowledge with our local tomato farmers in Ghana also, so that what is going on in Burkina Faso in their tomato production, we could have same. Can we have the onion farmers in Niger, the Mali, and some other countries that are championing onions? Because most of the onions that we are having in Ghana, that's coming to Ghana, is from Niger. Most of the cowpea that we have in this country is also coming from Niger. It means that they are doing so well in production, in producing some of these foods. We need the expertise. Not that we don't know or we don't have. We have, but we need to understand those who are championing it. When it comes to cocoa, everybody say Ghana. So we are having agronomists in the cocoa sector traveling to Burkina Faso, traveling to Ivory Coast, traveling to other places to also impart their knowledge for them to also start growing their cocoa. And all the challenges that they have in the areas when it comes in terms of cocoa production, they are tapping into the knowledge of Ghanaian agronomists to resolve and have those issues to be addressed. We could do same with other crops, as I keep saying, with some of our vegetables. Togo is doing a lot vegetables, some of the fresh vegetables. Even our women go all the way to go to bring some of these vegetables. It means that Togo is doing well in some, kinds of vegetables. Can we also bring them over, work with our farmers together, and see how they can also do same? All of these things are measures and factors that we could consider, we could look at. It's making sure, in West Africa, going beyond West Africa, other far regions outside our locations in Africa, so that we can also have what is called knowledge sharing, expertise flowing all over. Then we have sufficiency, because if we are not looking at that and we think that, well, if we are not having the expertise in Ghana in a particular crop production, and it is our neighboring country having the expertise, they are doing so much, we only just go and buy. No, it is not the way to go. Why don't we exchange knowledge for us to do same? They are coming for our people to impart knowledge to them. Let's also go for theirs to impart knowledge to us. And it is a way that some of these issues we could work on. And that is why most of the time, I keep on hammering on ECOWAS. I keep on hammering on the African Union. Do they have some of these things really in their books, and how well are they addressing it? How well are they working on some of these things? We have countries, when it comes in terms of seed, not GMO seeds, real healthy organic seeds. They are champions. They know how to produce seeds. Ghana, our seed sector or our seed bank, how strong and how well do we have it? Can we get some of these countries that are championing seed production to bring their expertise to help us to know how we can go about seed production, our own seed production, our indigenous seed production, so that we can also have it on as our own, and it goes on and on. When it comes in terms of livestock, Ghana, we are not doing too well in our livestock industry. Small ruminant, large ruminant, the poultry. All of these things, other countries are doing well. Why don't we bring their expertise? As they are always tapping into the expertise that we have in cocoa, tree crops, vegetables, and whatever scientists and here and there. It should be effectively carried out, so that we can handle food situations, food sufficiency for the entire African region.
Absolutely. I've
Let
liked.
me add something
Okay.
to what Doc said.
Sure, Gordon.
Let me ask you this. I know you may not answer, but do you know we are importing carrot?
I know.
And have you look at the two, the Ghana carrot and the imported carrot? Please, when you go to the market, anybody listening to me, just look at the Ghana carrot, which is smaller, and look at the imported carrot, and try to taste the two, and you see a very vast difference. Vast difference. I was tempted to believe the last time that the imported carrot is GMO. And with a loaded fertilizer.
Yeah,
Look, GMO goes with fertilizer.
Absolutely.
If you plant a GMO plant today and don't give you fertilizer, we call it heavy feeders, you won't get what you are supposed to get.
Yeah.
And health wise, I beg you, I won't talk. You just go and try the two, and then you bring back your feedback.
Intriguing. But I know some people also talk about cost, because I think usually some of these imported ones are cheaper than the local ones. So people say that, well, yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't think of the health benefit. They just go and say, this one is, if I will get, let's say, 10 of it for, let's say, 100 CDs, and this one will give me just 3 for 100 CDs, I'll go for the other one.
Yeah, you see, yesterday I was talking to somebody, this cost implication came in. And all I told him that, you go and spend 10 CDs to buy your food, and then go and spend 1 million at Kolebu, treating yourselves lying there. Which one do you prefer? Would you prefer to spend extra 10 CDs to get 20 CDs to stay healthy, or go and lie in Kolebu for 2 months, 3 months, treating yourself, and you don't even know that you'll be able to come back alive, or you will end up calling you the late? So you see, you just spend the little cash on made in Ghana product, on the food we produce from here, and you see the I don't want to talk. I said just go buy the local one and buy the imported one. Just bite it and see, and you see the difference.
Interesting. So, I mean, the key thing here is that we all must patronize our locally made goods. At least there we are assured of some very good quality.
You know, I would, say this also. We need discipline in our food system. If that discipline is not there, we will still, talk about all these nice things, and it will be very, very difficult for us to really see it happening. And the discipline should be in our various homes. Parents have to know better. The knowledge that parents need to impact in their children in their homes or in their various homes is key. So that when your child steps out there and wants to buy food, wants to buy something to eat, it informs the child what to buy and what not to buy. But if the home is even buying from the streets to feed children, if the home is already placing orders and the delivery person is bringing over for the entire household to be eating, all these practices, are we getting our kids to be with us in the kitchen when we are preparing food, to tell the child that when it comes to vegetable, it should be healthy, it should be organic? Are we having our home gardens to also get the kids over there to play around in the soil, to learn how to grow food right there and then? All these things are key. And I keep saying that when you step out there as a child, from what you've learned from home, when you go out there, you know what is right, what is not right. You know what to go for and what not to go for. And it goes a very long way. This child will grow and impart the same knowledge and training and that discipline in his or her offspring also. And it goes on and on. So let's focus on families. Let's focus on our homes, how disciplined we could be when it comes in terms of food. Let's understand the fact that food shouldn't taste nice, food shouldn't smell good, food shouldn't look nice all the time. It's about what the food is giving you in terms of your health and in terms of nutrition. That is the key, and that is how it's supposed to be, and that's how it has to go. It goes a very long way. Like my big brother said, when you go to the market, it's so funny. You see a cow that look like yam, so big and long.
Yeah.
And as you also rightly said, people are looking at costs.
Could be cheaper too. The person will think of I can
So
use it for a long time.
cheap. I can buy 20 pieces of it with about 20 cities. When I buy our local indigenous carrots, just few pieces, I'm even buying it at 30 cities. Like you rightly said, when you get sick, you go to the hospital. Did you negotiate with the doctor that the bill you're giving me is too much, so please reduce that bill? Why are we seeing and hearing sick people that have been diagnosed with some health challenges, and there's appeal for funds from various places? Sometimes you see it even on the media, and the picture of that person or the situation of that person is also painted. That can we have help from individuals? The Kolebu Hospital is saying that they need so and so amount of money. The rich hospitals need that money to treat this innocent person because of the health challenges that he or she is going through. Why is it that Kolebu will not say that we'll treat you for free? Why is it that all our big hospitals, even the private hospitals, why are they not treating us for free? They will treat us and will pay for it. Yeah. Why don't we live a life where we wouldn't find ourselves in those situations? That's why we are complaining. So those carrots, 20 cities, 30 cities, 10 cities difference. How much do we sell painkiller, even in a pharmacy shop? How much is it? Yeah. Painkiller is a first aid. It doesn't treat any health issue. Yeah. How much is it? It's not. Is it 10 cities? Can the 10 cities get you a medication when you are sick? Absolutely no.
And even the discomfort you go through, you can't work, you are stuck.
I mean, look, just that is why sometimes when sick people are, when they are on their bed and they are dying, quote unquote, that when they are prepared and willing, their family members even import drugs. When the prescription given and they can't get it anywhere at the pharmacy shop, they go as far as even calling friends and loved ones, families abroad, and quickly sending the prescription photo of it through WhatsApp. Could you please get it from a place in Germany? Could you please get it from that country? And it goes on and on. They go that far, and then DHL breaks it over. Then that medication is given. Look at the cost that is involved. That one we are prepared and willing to do it. But spend that extra 10 cities, spend that extra 20 cities to go for healthy organic food. That one we have all the reasons to complain and say it is too much, it's expensive, and people keep saying that why is it organic food is expensive? That is why people are not really interested in patronizing organic food. But if you know what it does for you so far as your health and well-being is concerned, it will be much cheaper for you if going for organic food.
Right. So the key thing is we must be disciplined. We must know that the way forward is by going for our organic food. Now, we've all maintained optimism, the fact that by 2035, you think that we can achieve the food self-sufficiency. And earlier, I think we had mentioned some government policies in place which we think that can help us achieve this. Maybe can we quickly run through some of them, the government policies on agriculture, which we think it's a game changer to change our food security. Maybe again, let me start with Dr. Dalcom to go.
Yes, I made mention of the Grow 24 under the 24-hour economy. What is looking at in the agriculture sector? Grow 24 is focusing on agroecological approach in growing our food. Agroecological approach in growing our food ensures that our food are healthy, cultivated. It also ensures that the resources on which we grow our food, ranging from the soil, ranging from water and what have you, should be protected. It shouldn't be overexploited. Soil fertility and soil productivity should go on a sustainable way to make sure that if it is vegetable that we're growing our vegetables on healthy soils and not soil that is power-packed with synthetic fertilizers. No. It goes even a long way in polluting underground water. It goes a long way in polluting some other freshwater bodies. Grow 24 is addressing issues that has to do with healthy food. Therefore, when farmers are growing food in an agroecological approach in making sure that the food that they are growing is healthy enough and they are not exploiting natural resources, as I made mention, all these food come to a market, and we can tell that currently the 24-hour market is being constructed, is being done in so many other locations. It is still ongoing, making sure that it is addressing healthy food security. That is one of the core objectives of the Grow 24 under the 24-hour economy. It is also citing farming activities at places where there's access of clean, proper, healthy water. So the Volta Enclave locations, they are looking at farmers that they could chance on that can really make efficient use of water lake for them to have throughout farming activities, not only seasonal. Vegetables are crops that you could grow from January to December non-stop. But farmers keep on complaining access of water. So they are located at places where there's access of water, but also not just too close to freshwater bodies. We all know the dangers that has to do with farming close to water source or water bodies.
The chemicals.
Absolutely. I mean, of course, marginal distance away. But having access to those water, it makes you have your farming activities throughout the year non-stop. It is addressing issue that has to do with inputs. Farmers are complaining about very good seeds that they don't have access to. Farmers are complaining other input like healthy plant nutrient material, in this case fertilizers, and of course organic fertilizers, not just synthetic fertilizers. You know, how they can make it accessible to these farmers, how they can address issues of logistics, moving your produce from where you produce them to various locations, and they are focusing on highly populated areas where consumption of food is very, very high, especially in Accra, in the Ashanti region, in the Bono areas, and what have you. It is addressing all these issues, making sure healthy food is at the doorstep of a lot of consumers as much as it could be. It is also addressing issues that has to do with value addition, adding value to all the produce that you are producing. So other professionals who are good and championing when it comes in terms of food handling, converting it into another form that can still, be healthy enough for consumers to have access to. So the value addition is also key, and even the president.
But speaking of the value addition, isn't it a capital issue also?
Well, I will come to that. But value addition, because we are looking at entirely right from land preparation all the way to what is being served on your dining table. It is addressing all these issues, all the chain, all the activity that goes into that. We understand the fact that a lot of perishable foods, when we tend to add value, when we tend to process them in the right way, not ultra processing, but in the appropriate processing activity, it will still be available. I mean, let's quickly even look at the tomato paste industry. Are we sure a lot of the tomato paste we have on the market are real tomatoes entirely? It is a huge question mark people keep on asking themselves. But it is also looking at those issues, we producing so much enough tomato, which I could remember the Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture, Honorable John Dumelo, is also pushing very hard to even fund some farmer with his own pocket money to produce more tomatoes, to address some of these issues in terms of value addition and food processing when it comes in terms of tomato, because the influx of imported tomato paste is too much. And even what is being produced over here in Ghana, because they are not getting enough tomato, they are adding all sort of funny stuff in manufacturing and producing tomato paste. If we have enough tomatoes, it will address all these issues. And with the value addition, as you really said, it's capital based, yes. But if the raw material is available, that is one thing. And assessing, credit facilities or assessing financial facilities because your raw material that you need to add value to it is available. It makes a lot of sense to have access to, credit facilities to go ahead with a business or with whatever you want to do as a value addition expert. And value addition, as I was about saying, it is something that His Excellency, the President of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, is really stressing strongly that so far as his office is concerned, nothing leaves the shores of Ghana raw or in a raw state. Anything that goes to the international market from Ghana should have value added, and it is critical. Value addition is addressing unemployment issue. Value addition is also bringing a lot of knowledge to our expertise, our graduates from the universities who have studied post-harvest management and so on and so forth to really now implement all the knowledge that they have when it comes.
But isn't there pressure from the international buyers of buying the raw product because they know they'll get it cheaper at that stage?
It is a policy. If I wouldn't sell my raw product to you, I will not just sell it to you. I'll rather sell it to you in another form that I've added value to. Therefore, the international market, there are tastes and preference in terms of demands on whatever they want to buy. When all of them gets to understand and know that value has been added to it, they have to also change their form of businesses in terms of whatever go to the final consumer, or in terms of whatever goes into wherever factory that it has to carry out other activities. When you are a business person and whatever you are buying from whichever country, you don't get it raw anymore. You are getting it in a form at which value has been added. It informs you to also now change your business approach. And that is that we can never give anything to anybody out of this country in a raw state anymore. It is past and gone. Anything that leaves the shores of this country has to be added in terms of value. And that is that. So whatever you're doing, whatever business you are carrying out there, make sure that you are not getting anything raw out of this country anymore. You know, so 24-hour economy is looking at all these things and working on it. Let me quickly jump to the initiative and flagship program of the Ministry of Agriculture itself. Honorable Eric Opoku doing a fantastic job, very hard-working man, making sure that what I started saying, food production, encouraging people to grow their own food at home, encouraging faith-believing institutions, organizations for them to grow their food, security services getting involved, and schools. You know, back in time, way back in the 80s, there were school gardens. And my big brother...
School farms.
School farms, yes. My big brother made mention his former school, they were doing poultry a lot, and it was feeding their dining hall with the food that is being served. These things, Eric Opoku is making sure that schools should bounce back and now get it done effectively. You know, some schools are still having it, but it has not been effectively, you know, carried out. And
I mean, I was very impressed by my Professor Adair came on the show some time ago, and he tells us of Christian High.
Absolutely.
Now they moved to full self-sufficiency. They produce all their eggs on campus, and now they've started even selling the extra egg.
Good.
And so every student eats an egg a day.
Exactly. So even when the schools are producing so much, I know some schools back in time, they were able to produce a lot of tomatoes, and they were selling to the open market. They were even doing barter trade. They exchange with other products that could be given to them as far as their school feed is concerned. And also thus, our various hospitality centers, our hotels most especially. He's also making sure that some of these hotels, can they also have some gardens to feed them or to supply them with the ingredients that they are using in their hotels, in their restaurants and what have you. All of these things, you know, it is ongoing, and it is a very good thing that is being carried out. And also making sure that there's accessibility of markets when we have so much food. Now everybody's growing food. Farmers are producing food. Smallholder farmers, he's encouraging them to do more. All of these things. Now, where is the market? Where do they sell the food? The channels and the avenues at which all this food could be looked at for. My big brother also made mention that now we can boldly say that we are sufficient in food and we are looking at the international market. But one most important thing, if we are looking at how secured our food should be, how we can effectively handle food issues, is to make sure that our natural resources is not and never overexploited. That is the bedrock of food security. Our forests, our green vegetation, our wetlands, we need them to still be in place without being degraded, without being destroyed. This is what will assure and make sure that we are having a very strong foundation when we are talking about food security. Also, inputs that farmers are using. Please, conventional farmers. We know that conventional farming activities has its own space. We are not condemning it. We are not saying everybody should stop conventional farming activity. But please, conventional farmers should be very, very, very careful, very, very, very mindful with the kind of synthetic input that they are using in growing food. It is really getting most of our indigenous foods going extinct. We are not seeing them anymore in our system. Let's stop using unapproved synthetic inputs. in producing our food. Ghanaian farmers are so much saturated in using weedicide. This is so wrong. Absolutely so wrong. Glyphosate-based weedicide, it is really destroying the environment. It is messing up our soils. It is messing up our underground water. It is getting most of our healthy food going extinct. And when they complain or they keep on pointing fingers and say that they don't have access to labor to do the land clearing, to control the weeds. But when we understand the complications and the negative impact in using weedicide, we will definitely have ways and means to handle our weeds issues. The overuse of other synthetic inputs, synthetic fertilizers. Farmers are using urea. Look, urea is being banned in some number of countries that they don't want to see urea anymore because the complication that urea is getting them on their natural resources, it is out of hand. So no more urea. It's a very common nitrogen-based fertilizer that farmers are using. And let's also understand and know that when we are talking about healthy food and food security issue, we need to look at our seed bank that we cannot do without. Let's go for real healthy seeds. Let's not go for GMO seeds like my big brother said that, look, GMO seeds, when you go for them, it informs you that you need to use heavy doses of synthetic input. You are compelled to be using wide range of very dangerous pesticides, and we are losing our useful insects. You know, all these things are contributing to food security and food issues. We need to address these issues properly to make sure that when it comes in terms of food security, we are safe and we are good to go. Pandemics are rising up each and every time. During the COVID era, we understood that, or that's what we got to know, that Ghana don't have food because we're importing so much. Now there's Ebola at other African countries. Although we are not seeing it here in Ghana, and we are hoping and praying that this government, so powerful and so effective as they are, they will never say for Ebola to hit us over here. But there's a pandemic somewhere. When there's a pandemic, there's also issue that has to do with food. Therefore, we need to make sure that measures and so many things that need to be put into place. It's not about buffer stock that we have so much food. That is not the issue. But most of this pandemic come in a form at which when our natural entities, when our natural resources is no more, it is reduced, it is being destroyed on a massive rate, then it also results, because when it is moving from one place to the next, it gets on our natural resources, our trees, the purpose at which trees alone is serving on our environment. Maybe time will not give us the opportunity for us to talk about some of these things, but you know, when some of these things are in place, you know, it's also protect and keep us away from some of this pandemic, and it goes on. Insect pest infestation. I remember back in time when the fall armyworm messed up our corn so much. It is because our ecosystem was in a mess. When our ecosystem is broken, then we don't have natural entities to control the larvae or some of these insects, you know. And it is very, very important, ecosystem services and biodiversity. When we have this well organized and it is naturally in place and we are not degrading it, we are not destroying it, our food systems, our food security, our food self-sufficiency will always and always stick and stay with us and will be good to go.
Right. Let me turn to Gordon. I'm still on government measures today. You think is boldening our resolve to say that, or even you are very strong and that we can achieve it?
Oh yeah, I think my brother said a lot of them. I will just add a few.
Yeah.
The first one is the market, the 24-hour market they are creating. You cannot do food security.
But has it started though?
Yeah, they've started.
You see, the market they are building up the market.
Sometimes we listen to the politicians, and some of us think things are not. I bet you send reporters to do at 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 3 a.m.
But yes, it's always been there, oh?
That's why I say send them there.
Yeah.
And you see what is happening over there at 2 a.m., at 4 a.m., at 5 a.m. And imagine if what they are doing there is not being regulated in a secure market. What they are doing there, if you move all of them to a 24-hour market, that they know that when the truck reaches here 3 a.m., there's somebody there to buy. When the truck reaches here, 12 a.m., there's someone there to buy. And you see what will happen. That same way we often generate revenue out of it. So the first thing to look at is the market. And so long as they've tackled the market, I'm happy. But I know that the food that we are looking for, there's a market for it to go. The second thing to that, the government has done that I'm very happy, is to introduce the school farms. To make sure that, look, as young as you are, you can use your hand to get something to eat. And when you grow and you go to the house, you now introduce this farming aspect to your house. The third thing that my brother didn't talk of, I wish you have mentioned, is that akon kitinkiti.
I was doing it again, mine.
Akon kitinkiti. What's it all about akon kitinkiti? Raising the best to the grower stage and giving it out to the farmers, to people. And they've given so many bears out. That so many. You move here, oh, this is part of akon kitinkiti. Oh, this part. And they don't just give you the bear, they give them a little funds to raise the bears, which is perfect. I passed through Bechem the last time, and they are building a very huge poultry processing plant, which can take nothing less than 500 people. Which I give credit to our president. And let me tell you something. Anybody who sees agriculture as a stone age thing and don't want to be it, I see that person to, excuse me to say, an illiterate.
Yeah.
Because look, in Ghana, our president have a farm.
Yeah.
His brother have a farm. I happen to be with him at Winchi Farms, growing over 1,000 acres of maize. Our own Afrajan is now farming.
Former UC was,
Is now farming. Deputy Minister of Agric is into farming. I'm into farming. I know you have some farm hiding somewhere.
No, I'm into farming.
Oh,
you get me? All the prominent people we have in Ghana is into farming. Agba Bagwin, our Speaker of Parliament, is into farming. And I quote this, one MP is now retired, is a retired MP now, Honorable Pangabu, Edra MP. Anywhere he is, I greet him. He said something. He said, Gordon, farming is my business. But politics, with the MPship, is his hobby. This man controls about 20 tractors.
Wow.
He farms across the country. Use the tractor to plow for people in various regions. If this person has come out and tell me that farming is the business and the politics is a hobby, you should know that there's more in farming than any other thing you can talk of.
Sure.
The government have done a lot. It's left with me and you to take advantage of what they are doing to make sure that we go. Tree crop development is supplying over 1 million seedlings to farmers. Those who are willing to use. Go to the Kintampo area. They've called farmers to come for mango and cashew seedlings. What is all that about? It's about what? Improving the agroecological zones to make sure that we see now we don't preach farmers to go into tree farming like mahogany, udum, wawa. No, you do the mangoes, do the cashews, do the rabbis,
fruit trees,
and you gain double.
Yeah.
At my place at Isoko, we've started the carbon credit program. We call it the cigar field. And let me use this opportunity to talk to farmers. Anybody who is interested should just call our farmer helpline, which is 030-211-611. We are ready and willing to help anybody into tree crops and then into the carbon market to make sure that we get the best out of everything that we do. The government is doing it. It's level you and I to tap into it, and then we go. Thank you.
Right, but let me ask you, maybe just before we close, maybe 2-3 minutes. With all these good initiatives we have discussed, we appreciate the fact that it's with a particular government. Let's say 2028, government changes hands. There's a risk that all of these projects may come falling flat. Now, some of these things which are very helpful, like the school, farming, and all that, how can we get it across to become a part of us through a very bipartisan or non-partisan approach that schools won't start their farms or this in Nkukwan Kitinkiti, government changes hands, then government says we are no longer interested. A whole sector collapses.
So you see, that's why I keep on saying that the government as helpers, we take advantage of it. If there's a new government comes in and says, okay, for me, I'm not interested in school farms, and you, the headmaster over there, you know how the farm is serving, why should you stop? Why should you stop? Produce it and feed your students with it. If the government, this present government, I don't expect him to continue giving the best to the farmers continuously. It needs to stop. But he's giving the first one, he's giving the second one, and you sow them. Do you make money out of them? Can't you use the money to invest into your akon? You get me? So I mean, it's high time. Everything should not be free. Yeah. That's where the problem comes in. But we need to break the free somewhere. We need to break it and make sure that, look, the little money you get, you need to invest it. Because you get first one, you get 10 best. You had 11 in quote, 1 million or 100 Ghana cedis to spend. You get the second one, another 100 Ghana cedis, make it 200 cedis. Can't you spend 100 cedis and use the 100 cedis to buy another 10 best? And gradually, the 10 best, you go to 15 best, you go to 20 best, you go to 30 best, and you grow your own business. But if we have in our mind that we always want the government to bring it, when there's a new government, there's a change of government, that's it. This factory that they have built in Beijing is a private factory. I know that person will be there willing to get best every now and then to process. So if you have the best, we'll come and process. I know of Fueni, is a giant importer in Ivory Coast. Do you know he brings best to Ghana for us to raise it for him? When you give you the bed, you give the feed, you give the medications, you raise the best, he comes and buy from us and go and process it in Ivory Coast. Interesting. Can't we run something of that sort in Ghana here? Can't that new institution run something? It can run it because you do it, but we've done it before. That's why I said the last time. And Abisu started something of that sort. The Minister's Initiative on poultry.
Yeah.
They gave the poultry out. They gave it out. Daco Farms was processing it. Boris B Farms was selling the base, the processed base. You get me? We start somewhere, and if we start and the private sector picks it up, I don't think the government can come in and entirely close down the whole poultry sector in Ghana. You can't do that.
What is important with what you rightly questioned that you asked is that is why we need to have very powerful policies that should cut across whichever political party in office. Policy that has to do with the agriculture sector should not and never, that is most especially when it has been adapted and it works for everybody in Ghana. It works for the industry players, ranging from farmers even all the way to consumers. For instance, listeners and viewers should not make a mistake believing and thinking that we're being partisan. No, we are being very honest. We are being very sincere as we could. We have been in this industry for so many years now, and we can tell if something is really going on well in the industry. Nothing stops us from, talking about it and promoting it. For instance, what is going on or what is happening in this current government regarding food and agriculture, which is going on so well? And I keep saying, I always use the statement that it is promising.
Yeah.
And suddenly, the next government or the different political party comes to office, regardless wherever the party might be. And all these things that is helping everybody, including consumer, is no more. Could you just imagine what will happen? Therefore, when we are able to institute that policy, that all of us happens to enforce it, all the industry players, as I keep saying, even including consumer, it means that the whole Ghana, because everybody eats food. And if your food that you are eating is becoming better in terms of how secure it is, how healthy and nutritious it is, you make sure that it continues as the way it's supposed to. So when we all decide that we are enforcing and making sure all these policies are in place, regardless whoever is in office, then of course it will still be there. So that is where I am saying, or that's where I think it has to be done. The policies that has to do with the food and agriculture sector. if this government is doing nice things and the government or the party in opposition don't like it, it is not that they don't like it. It is just that they are no more in office, they're in opposition, and they pretend as if they don't like it. But it's not helping. Because the food out there, that it is all over the place, it is affordable to the pocket of everyone, it is healthy enough. It doesn't go for only one political party or its supporters alone. It cuts across the entire nation. When you go to the market now and you are buying healthy stuff, regardless whichever political party you belong to, it is accessible to you.
Yeah, no one checks your card.
No, yes, absolutely. So let's be very, very, very objective enough. Let's be very, very honest to ourselves, and let's make sure that a policy needs to sit at the Agriculture Ministry, a very good policy that works. No one can change it. Nobody have it. It has to go through Parliament for it to be gazetted. Seriously, that this policy should stick and stay for good. It doesn't matter whichever government comes into power. And that is what will really take us far, and to quickly respond to the question that you asked.
Yeah.
Yes.
In fact, we have been trying very hard to be engaging with the National Development Planning Commission to see how some of these things can be integrated into a national policy, so that it's not necessarily party A or party B.
Yeah.
But the thing that must help the country, we all must rally behind.
Absolutely.
It, whether it came from this party or it came from that party. You know, and maybe let me just ask, just on a lighter note. You see, when you go to other countries and you see people with huge farms that they travel across with choppers, helicopters, and the rest, what's stopping us from having some here?
You know, when it comes in terms of farming systems, we need to be very, very, very strategic, and we need to be very, very careful about when you talk about farming systems. It is not too necessarily for us to have huge hectares of farms, because the much more bigger farms you tend to have, the more you are compelled to be degrading the environment. We need to be careful. You know, I always push for sustainable farming activities.
I was going to say that I can see you are heavy on sustainability.
Absolutely. You know, when